I think I want to keep my niece, but I don't know how to tell her that. Me and the social worker had a deal. It was going to be only 6 months while the foster system found her a real family. Then I'd move to New York and pretend I never played parent. I know how this sounds, but please hear me out. My brother Victor died in a motorcycle accident 3 months ago. No warning, no goodbye, just a phone call that split my life into before and after. His daughter Grace had nobody else. Her mom died when she was 4. Our parents died in a car crash 5 years back, and the rest of our family lives in the Philippines. Child Services said I could take her temporarily while they found a permanent placement. They'd pay me $800 a month, which would cover my moving expenses. It was purely practical. I didn't know this kid. Victor and I hadn't talked in 7 years over some stupid argument I can't even remember now. The social worker dropped her off on a Thursday with a garbage bag of clothes and a backpack covered in anime stickers. She stood in my doorway, all knobby knees and tangled hair, clutching a worn, stuffed elephant. The bathroom's down the hall, I said, because what else do you say to your dead brother's kid? She nodded without looking at me. I ordered pizza, and we ate in silence, her picking the pepperoni off each slice, creating little meat pyramids on her plate. I worked on my laptop while she sat there, both of us pretending this was normal. For weeks, we were polite strangers sharing space. She'd go to school, come back, disappear into a room. I'd work from home, order takeout, leave her portions outside her door. She never complained, never asked for anything. The perfect house guest. If you ignored the fact she was 11 and drowning in grief I didn't know how to acknowledge. I bought her school supplies because the list said so. Set up Netflix Kids on the TV. Googled, what do 11-year-olds eat? And stocked up on string cheese and juice boxes. Purely functional. I was a temporary guardian, not a parent. At the time, the distinction mattered. Then I found her crying in the kitchen at midnight, trying to make mac and cheese. Dad always made it when I couldn't sleep, she whispered, holding the blue box like it might bring him back. The water was boiling over, pasta scattered on the counter. She looked so small. I didn't know what to say, so I just started cleaning up the mess. Extra butter or regular? I asked. Extra, she said, wiping her nose on her sleeve. Dad said life's too short for regular butter. We ate mac and cheese at midnight, and she told me about Victor, how he'd do voices for all her stuffed animals, how he let her paint his nails purple for her school's career day, how he was teaching her guitar but never got past 3 chords. Things I never knew about my brother because I was too stubborn to pick up the phone. Something shifted after that. She started doing homework at the kitchen table instead of her room. I'd help with math and she'd tell me about a school drama, which kid was dating who, why her teacher was totally unfair, how she made the soccer team but wasn't sure she wanted to play. I started leaving work early to pick her up from school. She'd blast terrible pop music in the car, singing along off key, and I'd pretend to hate it while fighting not to smile. We developed Tuesday taco nights. She taught me TikTok dances I was terrible at. 2 months in, her social worker called. A family in Marin County was interested. Stable, experienced foster parents with a good track record for adoption. They had a pool and a golden retriever. Perfect for Grace, she said. I should have been relieved. This was the plan. Instead, I spent the night watching her sleep on the couch, still clutching that elephant, wondering when I started thinking of her room as her room instead of my office. The meeting was scheduled for next week. I helped her pick out a nice outfit, told her to be herself, that any family would be lucky to have her. I said all the right things while something in my chest felt like it was cracking. The night before the meeting, we were making dinner together. Spaghetti with way too much parmesan, the way she liked it. She was quiet, pushing meatballs around her plate. You know, she said suddenly, not looking up, you've made this whole thing bearable. Like, losing Dad is still the worst thing ever, but you made it so I could handle it. You never tried to replace him or pretend everything was okay. You just let me be sad while making sure I still ate vegetables and did my homework. She finally looked at me, eyes shining. I hope whoever adopts me is like even 10% of the man you are. That would be enough. I had to leave the room. Stood in the bathroom, gripping the sink, realizing that somewhere between mac and cheese at midnight and terrible TikTok dances, this kid had become mine. Not legally, not officially, but in all the ways that mattered. When I came back, she was washing dishes, humming off key. Hey Grace, I said, what if you didn't go to that meeting tomorrow? She turned, soap suds on her hands. But the social worker said, what if I called her tonight and said we want to make this permanent, that I want to adopt you? She stood there, dish in hand, water running. You don't even like kids. I like you, I said. Turns out that's enough. But what about New York? Your job. They have jobs in California. They don't have you in New York. She threw herself at me, soaking wet hands and all, crying into my shirt. Does this mean I can paint your nails purple? Component placement. I said, don't push it, holding her tight. But what I didn't tell her is that wanting to keep her and being allowed to are different things. The social worker made it clear I'm temporary, single with no experience and barely making rent. Tomorrow I have to convince her that a man who never wanted kids is right for Grace. And I don't know how, but Grace deserves someone who chooses her, and somehow that's me.